Well, the time of the Marvel Legends Galactus HasLab project is closing in to its end. The Marvel Legends team has been teasing multiple backer rewards for different tiers, and I know I can't wait to get my favorite, the Silver Surfer. Let's take a look at how many additional reward tiers have been broken by now, shall we? Here we go again. Hello Dreamers and Duets, I'm your host Didi, and as the Marvel Legends Galactus HasLab project nears its conclusion, and with murmurs around the next HasLab starting in the near future, heavily rumored to be the Transformers Victory character Star Saber, I thought it'd be a good time to take a retrospective look at the crowdfunding platform, reviewing its history and potential future, and discussing some areas that are in need of improvement. This was a video topic picked by you guys in my recent poll for my next video, so I'd just like to ask that if this is the type of content you're interested in, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, so I can in return make more content that you'd like to see, and you can check out some of the future polls for upcoming videos. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So with that said, let's dive right in. Before we begin, let me briefly explain what HasLab is to any of you who may be unfamiliar with the platform. Kicked off officially at 2018's New York Toy Fair, HasLab is Hasbro's crowdfunding platform, not unlike places such as Kickstarter, where fans come together to back larger-than-life items, things that wouldn't exactly be put out for sale otherwise. While some may question why a multi-billion-dollar company like Hasbro needs to crowdfund certain products to be made, the truth of the matter is these are incredibly large or niche products that would be unlikely to survive at regular retail, and thus is unable to be mass-produced in large numbers. And unlike typical Kickstarter items, the items in HasLab would only be available during that backing period, and would not be re-released after the fact. When you think about it, it's less like a traditional Kickstarter and more of a made-to-order pre-order system with a minimum production number. It's a small yet important distinction, as if not enough people place orders to meet the minimum, then it's not possible for the product to be made at a financial level, supposedly, but we'll come back to that. The first project was for the Star Wars Vintage Collection line, unveiled at the same 2018 Toy Fair, which was the 4-foot-long Jabba the Hutt Sail Barge, as seen in Episode 6 of Return of the Jedi. At $500, it featured the Sail Barge itself, with an incredible attention to detail, a Vintage Collection scale Jabba the Hutt and Yak Face figure, and a Behind the Workbench book showing the behind-the-scenes details of the creation of the Sail Barge set, which would ship earlier than the playset itself. For the first project, it needed 5,000 backers by April 3rd, 2018 in order to be put into production, and ended up with a bit over 8,000.
It's over 8,000! 8,000?! Come on, that can't be right, it must be broken or something!
The behind-the-scenes books were sent out in spring of 2018, and the backers were sent their sail barges in February of 2019. Reception was mostly positive, except for the fact that this was only available for the United States. Overseas fans were not given the opportunity to purchase a sail barge until February of 2019, where about 10,000 units were put to sale on the official Hasbro eBay storefront, only for international buyers. Fortunately, this was the only case of units being sold on eBay, but sadly not the only case of poor treatment towards the international fans. The next project to come was a great devourer, with a ceaseless hunger for anything put before him, an atrocity that can only be described as a monster. The second HasLab project to come was Cookie Monster. In a very odd choice, Hasbro decided to launch the next project targeted towards the adult Sesame Street fans with a life-size, high-quality Cookie Monster replica, priced at $300, requiring 3,000 backers to be made. Look, I'm not denying that there are adult fans or collectors of Sesame Street paraphernalia, but the truth of the matter is that's a completely different ballgame than the likes of Star Wars or Marvel collectors. Very predictably, this project failed hard, with late in the game Hasbro attempting to sweeten the deal with a plush cookie accessory, but it was already too late. By the project's end, it didn't even reach 600 backers out of the required 3,000. Unluckily, this coincided with the third HasLab project, unveiled shortly after Cookie Monster, which was met with its own fair share of controversy. Exceeding a whopping $600 after taxes was the Monster Planet Unicron from the world of the Transformers. We actually touched upon this in our last video where we discussed the character, but to reiterate, this project was the most expensive HasLab and almost missed its funding date, requiring 8,000 backers, with international fans having to resort to limited outlets such as Takara Mall, local online retailers, or overpriced secondary market sites rather than the official HasLab page. The project very nearly wasn't funded, only able to reach about 6,000 during the final few days of backing, and had to have its backing period extended for over a month, even then barely surpassing its goal until the last minute, where it is alleged to have exceeded 12,000 backers. The other issue with Unicron was, unlike the Sail Barge, which came with a few accessories and goodies, Unicron didn't come with anything. He included an online code code for a digital comic book with an advertised exclusive cover, but these were already released IDW comics that you could obtain anywhere else. As for the exclusive cover, it's just a JPEG image.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is?
There were no included figures, no behind-the-scenes books, it was just Unicron. During the backing extension, they included small, micro-sized versions of characters Galvatron and Rodimus Prime, as well as an Autobot shuttle and a swap-out chin. That was everything they added during the campaign, and it would ship early 2021. There was also a bit of a war with a third-party company releasing an unofficial Unicron toy around the same time, but oh boy, is that a discussion for another day. The next batch of projects came around summer to fall of 2020, consisting of the Marvel Legends Sentinel, the Star Wars Vintage Collection Razor Crest ship from The Mandalorian, and a remake of the Hero Quest board game. It'd be very fair to say that these projects were way more successful than the first three, with tier unlocks being introduced, meaning extra figures or accessories would be included, or in the case of Hero Quest, extra miniatures and other items. They each featured smaller funding amounts, with the Sentinel and Razor Crest both asking around $350, and Hero Quest's amount depended on which version of the game you wanted, with the most expensive one being $150. It seemed that improvements were being made with smaller asking goals and more bang for your buck depending on the backer amount, and it also seemed there was slightly more availability to international markets, but at the same time there was still a severe flaw in the system. Oh, and then for the Razor Crest fans, this happened. This brings us to earlier in 2021, when the Unicron figure finally began to ship, and fans noticed some severe quality issues. The final shipped version of Unicron ended up having a very different color tone than the prototype images. Lower quality Galvatron and Rodimus miniatures, mirrored parts that required screw covers to hide visible screw holes on the front of the figure, and several areas of removed paint, most notably around his maw area in planet mode, and his lower teeth in robot mode. If this was on a smaller figure, or even any normal retail figure, I think these types of changes would be understandable. As a prototype is of course not the final product, changes are expected. But in this case, we're talking about an item that people spent $600 for. While I understand things like the overall color tone may vary, things like removing the paint on the mouth, leaving it half painted, feels like it only can be conceived as a cost-saving measure, something a bit inappropriate for an item with such a hefty price tag. This brings us to our current project, Galactus in the Marvel Legends line, which seems to have its own breed of problems once more. While the larger price tag may be attributed to ongoing rising costs in shipping and raw material, the incredibly high minimum goal of 14,000 seems extremely questionable. After all, the Sentinel only required 6,000 units to be made, but it has exceeded 21,000 units sold and broke all of its stretch goals. The thing is, while it's debatable whether or not Galactus is more well known over the Sentinels, what is true is that these Sentinels are army builder characters. These are giant robots that attack the X-Men in large numbers. As a result, it's feasible to assume, not all of course, but a sizable portion of fans were ordering multiple units. Galactus, however, is a singular entity. In addition to this, the Sentinel figure from last year still hasn't shipped. Because of this, I've seen quite a number of people hesitant to back the Galactus project in fear of Sentinel experiencing similar quality downgrades, such as what Unicron buyers experienced. Fans have a reason now to question what they're going to get. It doesn't help that, with the high backer goal, Hasbro is hiding the tier unlocks and teasing them in irritating ways on their live streams. The thing is, this is a $400 figure. People aren't looking to be surprised with what they could get. People want to know what they're going to invest into. The Galactus tier unlocks are particularly looking bad at the very moment, as only one figure is currently revealed as of this recording, and it's stated to be locked behind the 16,000 backer goal. At this moment, Galactus is still away from that by several thousand. This also puts Silver Surfer, by far the most recognizable and well-known of Galactus's heralds, behind another unlock goal, presumably of 18,000. Galactus would need over 5,000 backers in about a week to get that. These aren't anything very special from a build standpoint, and at $400, you're telling me that one Marvel Legends figure couldn't be included? Even the Sentinel includes a 6-inch scale figure at the base. On top of that, although Hasbro Pulse UK now exists, international fans elsewhere still need to resort to secondary places in order to get their hands on this figure. If you ask me, I think Hasbro got a little bit greedy with Galactus. I think they saw the overwhelming success of the Sentinel and Razor Crest projects and thought that a higher backer minimum would mean higher sales, and that would help offset the price from rising material costs. The Sentinel was able to reach over 10,000 within its first week and blew past all of its stretch goals then. After 6,000, people knew if they backed it, they would definitely get it. However, here, that hasn't been met just yet, and people are still not feeling comfortable with the value of what it costs versus what's being offered. And not including high demand characters like the Silver Surfer, who at the moment is really only available as an exclusive to Walgreens or highly priced on the aftermarket, it feels like such a grab for more to get people hyped, when in reality people are feeling let down. Hasbro is asking a lot, but what are they giving back to you? At this scale, these aren't just kids' toys to get at Walmart, these are items designed for the super fan, yet it doesn't fully feel like that either. I don't think Galactus won't be funded. I think he'll be successful and we'll probably see a surge of backers in the final day, and maybe we'll make it to Nova, and it's possible that maybe with the intervention of the Living Tribunal, that Silver Surfers reach too. Kickstarters do their best in their opening and closing days, but that being said, I still can't help but feel that HasLab isn't fully treating itself or the fans seriously. I don't think HasLab is bad. Honestly, I'm a fan of the concept since it brings these large-scale items to life, and I myself am eagerly waiting for my Sentinel to come in. That being said, I think they need to improve on their fan communications. Projects like Galactus are already exciting as is. Silhouettes of characters that should already have been included at the base are honestly more frustrating than anything. With the next project of what's very likely to be Star Saber coming soon, I just hope that they continue to learn from these mistakes, offer him for a far lower cost than some of these other projects, and be a bit more upfront with what's coming. Otherwise, more things will just end up like Cookie Monster. Hey guys, if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Have you backed a HasLab project yet? What would you want to see them make? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, or subscribe if you want to see more. This was a topic voted on by you guys, so if you'd like to see something in particular, let me know. There's a lot I'd like to do, but I'd love to hear from you guys too. Be sure to join the Discord if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I can see you next time.